Sony a6500 versus the Fuji XT2. Let's compare them and let's see which one is better. Hello YouTubers, my name is Attila Mate from Blue Sky Photography, and today I'd like to talk to you about the Sony a6500 and the Fuji XT2. Last week I made a video about the Sony a6500 versus the Olympus EM-1 Mark II, and I made a statement which is actually I had to correct. Because I told in that video that the Olympus EM-1 Mark II is the only professional level mirrorless camera on the market at the moment. Well, I have to correct that. It looks like the Fuji XT2 is also a professional level mirrorless. But that there is a small difference between the Olympus and the Fuji, and that will be a separate video. That will be another video because otherwise it will be too long. So today let's talk about the Sony a6500 versus the Fuji XT2. Now, first of all, I'd like to take the advantages of both of the cameras, because obviously both of the cameras are good, but there are some very distinct advantages in one side and on the other side. So let's see the advantages on the Sony and then on the Fuji XT2. So first of all, the Sony a6500 advantages. Has in-body image stabilization. That's a very good advantage, and I have to tell you, I have to admit this to Sony, that they do a great job in the image stabilization. So that camera has a great image stabilization, in-body image stabilization. They claim that it's up to 5 stops you can go lower with your shutter speed. I wouldn't go down with up to 5 stops, but it's very good. Definitely it is very good. So that's the first advantage. Second, has touchscreen. Now Sony finally listened to his customers. You know, but this is not what they used to do in the past. You know, usually they don't listen. So hopefully they will from now to on. But they put touchscreen in the a6500, and that's good. That's very good. So that's the second advantage. The third advantage, and this is for some people it will be a big advantage, and that is that it has slow motion video at 120 frames a second in XAVC-S codec and 100 megabits data transfer. Now, that's very good. 120 frames per second, that is very good. Again, another advantage of the Sony, arguably better autofocus in video. Now, I say arguably because the Fuji XT2, we don't really know how it is the autofocus. What we know that Sony produces a great autofocus in video in every camera. I used to have the Sony a7 Mark II, the Sony a7R and the Sony a6000. Now I have to tell you, the a7R wasn't a great focusing camera, but in video the autofocus was flawless. I mean, Sony is great in this. In autofocus in the video, Sony is great. So that's why I say arguably better autofocus in video, because we don't know how the XT2 will act and how will focus. But we know that Sony does great autofocus. Now, again, an advantage, arguably longer recording time in video. Now, again here, we will see why I say arguably, because we will see that if it will have overheating issues or not. With the Sony a6300, a lot of people, they say, you know, that, oh, I don't have any overheating issues, but then on the other side, a lot of people are complaining that they have overheating issues. So obviously the overheating is over there. Now, we don't know if it's in every camera or it's only in the few cameras, but it is over there. So that's why I say here that arguably longer recording time, because with the Fuji XT2 you can record 4K video to up to 10 minutes, but then if you have the battery grip, then you can record until 30 minutes. Unless with the Sony a6500 you can record 30 minutes without any grip, because there is no battery grip option for the a6500. Now, like I said, with Fuji you get the same recording time if you get the battery grip, but with that's not cheap, you know, because the battery grip is $326. But it's a kind of a normal price for an original battery grip, you know, because the Sony battery grips are the same price. So now we got to the Fuji XT2 advantages. These were the Sony a6500 advantages, and I think that there are some good advantages in between, like major advantages, you know, like the in-body image stabilization, well, touchscreen, yeah, but the slow motion, you know, that's a big one. So let's go to the Fuji XT2 advantages now. First, and this is again pretty good advantage, that everything is slightly cheaper. Cameras, lenses, etc. except the a6000. The a6000 is very good price on the Sony side, and it's also a good camera. I used to own the camera, but now I succeed to sell it through one of my YouTube videos. One of my viewers actually bought the camera. I hope he's very happy with it, and I hope he can use it for a very long time. So I used to have these Sony cameras, you know, and I know what's the prices and how the lenses are in price-wise, you know, but the Sony a6000 is a good price. The rest is a little bit overpriced. Now, the Fuji cameras, let's talk now the bang what you get for your buck, you know, I mean, it's not like comparing head to head, you know, it's just, let's say, what you get for your money. Fuji cameras are a little bit cheaper than the Sony cameras. And the lenses as well, you know, and on the lenses, you know, it's obviously a big difference. Now, if you shoot photo as well, and not only video, the rest of the advantages of the Fuji, it will be very big for you, and distinct advantages. And for me, these advantages are deal breakers. I mean, it's I wouldn't buy the Sony because of these advantages, and they are 1/32,000 of a second shutter speed, electronic shutter speed. That's hilarious, I tell you. That's very good. I mean, it's like in the Olympus EM-1 Mark II, the same. It's 1/32,000 of a second electronic shutter, 1/8,000 of a second mechanical shutter. Now, this is again very important, because if the electronic shutter doesn't work by any means, the mechanical shutter is 1/8,000 of a second. On the other side, the Sony is 1/4,000 of a second. So it's a big advantage here. Again, 1/250th of a second flash sync speed. Like if you saw my video about the Sony a6500, you know, I was complaining about these things, you know, that on a professional camera, these things must be included. Period. There is no excuse for this, you know. I don't know why Sony didn't do it. I don't have a clue, but they didn't. Anyway, dual SD card slot. Again, this is something very important if you do photo. If you do video, maybe it's not so important. Even if you, because if you do video, usually all the cameras will record on one card the video, so it won't record on the other card as well. So if you want to make sure that your video will not get lost, you know, if the card is corrupted, then you must shoot with two cameras, you know, unfortunately. Honestly, I don't really know. I'm not very familiar on the video side, but I don't really know any camera which one records on both of the cards, you know, in the same time. I think that mostly all the cameras, they will record on one card. So video-wise, the dual SD card slot is not very important. If I'm wrong by any means, please leave a comment down below and tell me the camera which one records on both of the cards, you know. I would like to know as well, you know, but after I know, records only on one card. So, better affordable lens lineup, and this is good as well. I told you, like Fuji lenses, we all know that they are excellent. They are very good lenses. And Fuji, they used to have, and they still have, you know, variable aperture lenses and fixed aperture lenses. But here comes the interesting part. The variable aperture lenses, quality-wise, they are so high that they can be called as professional lenses. Unless in Sony lineup, you know, if you buy a variable aperture lenses, or even if you buy a constant aperture lens, you know, it's not all the time you get the bang for your buck what you expect. And there is a very clear example, the Sony 24-70 f4 FE lens, the Sony Zeiss lens. And that lens is not up to the Zeiss badge, I tell you. Unfortunately, I have to tell you that if you buy that lens, you will be very disappointed. And that's true. Some people will say, yeah, it's sharp. And no, that's not up to the Zeiss badge. And there are some reviewers on YouTube who will say the same. If you check, you know, and they tested the lens, and you will see that they will say the same. It's not. Anyway, with Fuji, that's not the case. In a Fuji, if you buy a lens, even if it's a variable aperture lens, you know, it will be a great quality lens. So the lenses are cheaper and they are great quality, all of them. In Sony, you will have great quality lenses, but unfortunately it is so expensive that you have to spend a shitload of money, you know, to pay it. Excuse my language, but that's the truth. So, better affordable lens lineup. Battery grip option. Again, this is a big one. If you do photo, if you do video, battery grip option, it's a big one. So if you want to have extra battery life, you know, with the a6500 you don't have. You have to carry your batteries and stick it in all the time. I know it's a small battery, and some people say, yeah, who cares, it's only very small, I put in my pocket. I know, I used to do it, don't forget it. I used to do it. And I used to change in the A7R and the A7 Mark II and the A6000, and I always was mixed up, you know, now which pocket is the batteries that are discharged, now which pocket is the batteries that are charged. So it's only a mess. I tell you, if they say, you know, that, oh, it's no problem, I'm sorry, but I think they wasn't in a situation where you have to be in a hurry, you know, and you have to change the batteries, and sometimes you lose moments, you know, in wedding photography or in fast situations like sports photography, these kind of things, you know, you don't have to mess around with the batteries. That's okay. Anyway, so battery grip option on the Fuji, it's a big advantage, I would say. And here comes again what I like very much, and that's why I love the Nikon D7200. It's a 24 megapixel, no anti-aliasing filter sensor. Now this is a big one. Pictures are sharper, poppier. If you don't have anti-aliasing filter, the pictures look very, very good. And I don't know why Sony doesn't remove the anti-aliasing filter. They say that it's over there, but it's almost removed, and it has no effect, and I don't know. Don't ask me, I don't have a clue why they don't do it. Anyway, Fuji has no anti-aliasing filter. Now, these are the advantages and the disadvantages. And as you can see, both of the cameras have advantages and disadvantages. Sony a6500, if you want slow motion video, you have to buy it. It's a great camera. It has no microphone jack, that's true. Sorry, it has microphone jack, no headphone jack. Other than that, you know, I don't see the price being so high, you know. I mean, it's why they put a so high price tag. They should have put like 1,100 euro, that's fine, okay. You know, or 1,200, but why it's 1,600 or why? I mean, it's very expensive, you know, and the Fuji XT2 is around the same price, you know. I mean, it's maybe 100 euro difference, you know, but it's the same price, and I don't know why is that, you know, I don't know. But anyway, in my last video I told that the Olympus EM-1 Mark II is the first professional mirrorless camera which is really professional, and you can't complain on any area, you know. Now I was wrong then, because the Fuji XT2, it's a professional camera as well. Now there are some big differences between the Fuji XT2 and the Olympus, and that will be a different video. That video will come in the future. So if you don't want to miss, please feel free and subscribe to my channel, and then you will not miss that video. Or if you just want to come back and have a look. But I think that these two cameras, the Olympus EM-1 Mark II and the Fuji XT2, they are real professional grade cameras. You can use them in any environment. I mean, the Fuji XT2 is an APS-C size camera like the Sony a6500. The Olympus EM-1 is a micro four thirds. That's a smaller sensor. Yes, that's true. But you will see in the other video that it's not a big issue. I will explain to you why. So, I hope this video was helpful to you guys, and the truth is that you have to decide yourself, you know. I personally myself, I wouldn't buy the Sony a6500 because I think that it is overpriced without a reason. I mean, it's nothing so good in it, you know, that it justifies that price, you know. But that's me. I don't want to make angry any Sony fanboy, you know, because I did in the past and they jumped on me and they wanted to choke me. But anyway, I don't want to make them angry. This is only my opinion. And I think, like a human being, I have the right to the opinion. So I can say my opinion, you know. I think that the Sony is overpriced. And if it would be me, then I would buy the Fuji XT2. But like I said, if you use only video and you like slow motion, definitely you will have to buy the a6500. I hope this video was helpful to you guys, and I hope that you liked it. If you liked it, please feel free and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos like this coming. Other than that, I wish you a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.